Good Shabbos. This week, the world commemorated International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Now, when Hitler came to power, immediately there were many rules and regulations and anti-Semitic activities. Already in the 1st of April of that year, 1933, there was the day of boycott. And in that day, they closed up shops. They didn't allow any non-Jews to go into Jewish shops. They canceled 200 government workers who were Jewish. They, of course, beat Jews. They a month on the 10th of May, they had public book burning, and so on. Constant anti-Semitic rules and regulations coming from government. Now, this didn't just start in 1933. Even before Hitler came to power, Hitler Youth would walk around beating Jews in the streets of Germany. The question what asks, there were 500,000 Jews in Germany. Why didn't they leave? The writing was on the wall. They saw so much anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic rules against them. How could they stay? And if before 1933, they could have left with their possessions, they could have sold their homes and businesses for relatively decent prices and come to other Western countries. Why did they stay behind? Not only that, those who did leave, were many of them came back. Return migration to Germany. After the first wave of anti-Semitic rules, they actually came back, to the extent that in the beginning of 1935, they made a re-education camps, basically labor camps, concentration camps, for Jews who came back, and that didn't kind of slow down the return migration. But nevertheless, there were still Jews who couldn't handle being away from their German culture and actually came back to Germany. Well, we find that when the Jewish people left Egypt, God says to the Jewish people that when they bring the offering of the Paschal Lamb the night before leaving Egypt, they should not leave their homes. Why? Why did they have to stay home all night? Well, one of the reasons is because once there's permission, so to speak, for the angel of death to take the firstborn, you're in a state of danger. That's what Rashi brings. But there could be a simple, another perspective. Beforehand, before Pesach, Lot, Avram's nephew, also gave the angels who came to visit him matzahs. And whilst they're eating the matzahs, the people of Stone come around and demand from Lot to let the guests, let them take the guests. They wanted to do things to them. And the angels have to schlep Lot back into the house and tell him we're destroying this place and we have to leave. And Lot and his wife are told, do not look back. We're taking you away. We're saving you from these people. And it was hard for Lot to leave. And his wife looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. Why is this? Because human nature is such that it's very difficult to leave our habits and leave that which we are used to and our homeland, if you'd like. And so the Jewish people, when they left Egypt in the beginning of this Parsha, Hashem says, I'm going to take them a roundabout way, because if I take them the straight path, if anything happens that is a little bit difficult, they're going to bolt back to Egypt. As a matter of fact, we see later on, when the spies came along and brought fear into the hearts of the Jews about going to Israel, they said, let's go back to Egypt. Can you imagine, after the servitude, after the enslavement, after the suffering they went through, they want to go back? Because it all goes back to the same point. It is very difficult for people to leave that which they are used to, their old habits, their old places. Therefore, Mitzrayim is called constriction. It comes in the Hebrew world of constriction. We're constricted by our previous ways, and it's hard for us to get out of that frame of reference, that perspective. So that's actually why we have to every day remember to go out of Egypt, because it's something that's relevant today, because each one of us has our habits, has our ways of thinking, and it's hard for us to leave it, which is probably why we're a month after New Year's, and many people have taken on New Year's resolutions. And the question is, how many are still keeping them? Many don't, because it's hard. It's hard to change our habits. And so when we want to change different things about ourselves that are not the best, it takes a lot of effort. We have to every day remember, I need to go out of Egypt. Is this a habit? Is this something I'm used to? This a nature that is absolutely necessary or not? And if it isn't, and it isn't wholesome and isn't positive, we have to put in the effort. We're given the ability. We have been taken out of Egypt. We have our godly soul to strengthen ourselves over those negative habits and to actually become the people that Hashem has given us the opportunity to be. So as we celebrate going out of Egypt and we celebrate the splitting of the sea in this week's Parsha, which we read, let us split our own seas. Let us get out of our own constriction to become the people that we're destined to be. Good Shabbos.